Let's talk about some hot button topics in the speed round.
Speed round.
All right, so we talked in the previous episode, mini-sode, about Georgia's somewhat lackluster performance against Kent State on Saturday. And the speed round question is, will that have a positive impact, meaning providing real in-game examples of how things that they need to work on, ways to improve while still getting a win? Or do you think it could have a negative impact, such as getting into the heads of the players, showing them that they have weaknesses that can be exploited by a team that isn't even top tier? I don't know, Jesse, what do you think?
I don't think it'll impact Georgia's players necessarily. I think Kirby Smart's a good enough coach to know how to combat that.
Mhm.
And I think the players, they were obviously there. They know the mistakes that they made and they know what they need to work on, and they're part of a top tier program. So I have no doubt that they will work on those. I think those that it will impact are the teams that are going to play them. I think they're going to watch that film and they're going to pick up ways that Kent State's offense was able to get at Georgia's defense and ways that their defense was able to hold Georgia's very potent offense. That I think will help them. I also think it will help other teams in confidence, knowing that there are some holes. It's not just this, Goliath that they have to slay. They know that there is some points of weakness that they can hopefully try to exploit, especially if it's an SEC team that counts themselves as someone who's better caliber or more of a higher caliber than that of Kent State.
Yeah,
I don't think it affects Georgia.
I tend to agree with you, not just because I'm a Georgia fan, but like you said, I think Kirby's a good coach. I almost, to a certain extent, and when I stopped myself in the last episode about continuing, it was because I really wanted to kind of get into it here, and that was that I think Kirby may have even, to a certain extent, I don't think you ever really want to struggle, but I think that he wanted his team to have a test. I think he wanted his team to even if it's just like a mental test of like, okay, let's do better. But in this sense, it's like, look, this is what can happen when maybe you assume too much. And yeah, we're fortunate that it's against this team because we're still able to get the win. But you guys cannot mess around like this against, better teams and expect to walk away with a win.
Yeah, you want your test to be against a Kent State because you can recover from that test. You don't want it to be against an SEC rival that you may not be able to recover with, or against an out of conference team that is of a higher caliber, because you can't always recover from that. And those losses do get into your head.
Yeah. And my only hope is, so you mentioned the teams that are going to face them. My only hope is hopefully by the time those teams get there, those holes have been filled. And so it's not as much of an issue once we get there. And, there's some things that, are just inherently you're not going to fix as easily. But we'll see. That's the hope anyway.